the cloud. Okay. All right. Let me just get my PowerPoint going. Okay. Good. Share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, so you guys are here tonight because we are doing our training for what it's going to be a regional representative. I just want to start by thanking you guys for being here, for being willing to participate. This is a program that we have been talking about for several years, actually, but just this past year, it really kind of got the ball rolling with it. Obviously, Allison has 7,000 things on her plate at all times, so I was able to come on and take this particular thing off her plate, and so she didn't have to worry about this one. So this is something I'm excited to get going. Something I've learned just in my 3.5 short years of having a SATB2 kid. Is that everything varies so much state to state, and obviously country to country as well, but I can only speak for the US. But so having people in different parts of the country who can be a resource to our families is going to be really important. Also, long term, we would like to, hold on, somebody's asking to join. Long term, we would also like to eventually get some of this information into our resource guide that we're putting together for our families as well. That way we have kind of a one-stop shop for everybody who's new to the diagnosis, or even not new to the diagnosis, who needs this information. So thank you so much, because I definitely cannot do this by myself. So I'm very glad to have you guys here. As of now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 people plus myself. So 18 people who have said, yes, I want to participate in this program. So I think it's 17 different states. No, sorry, 16 different states, but 18 people. So we're doing pretty good so far. Obviously, we need more. So if you know anybody who you think would be a good fit, please feel free to ask them to join us. And hopefully we can get most of our states covered at some point. California, Alabama, Texas, New Jersey, and Virginia, off the top of my head, are the states that need the most representation, because they so far have the most of our families, which Alabama and Alabama, New Jersey, and Virginia are odd to me. Texas and California obviously makes sense. So we're going to need more than one representative in Texas and California as well. So I'm grateful that Nancy joined us as well, because that puts 2 people in California, and then hopefully we can get 1 or 2 people from Southern California as well. But Mary, if you know any other Texas people, feel free to bug them to join you. Ideally from other parts of Texas, not from your area, so that way we can have the state covered. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so what is a regional representative? A regional representative is a volunteer position for the SATB2 Gene Foundation under the Director of Family Support, which currently is me. This person is passionate about engaging with families in their immediate regions and being a source of peer support for those families. This person's also willing to learn about the state and local resources offered by the regions that they represent for persons with disabilities, so that they can help families within their region find the supports needed for their loved one with SAS. This person will also organize regional meetups, both virtually and in person. And I made some changes to that we'll talk about later. I know last time I had said 4, but I downscaled a little bit on that. So your responsibilities are very minimal: peer support and organize regional meetups. So we're going to mostly talk about the peer support aspect tonight, but we will talk a little bit about the meetups as well. And then at the end, I will give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions you might have. All right, so peer support. So you are going to be considered a peer leader in your role. Obviously not like a certified peer leader. I'm not going to be certifying any of you because I'm not certified myself. Actually, I guess technically I am. I took a course through I can't remember which program it was, but I think Child Neurology Foundation. So technically I am, but I don't feel qualified to be certified by any means. So what makes up a good peer leader? A good peer leader is somebody who you can talk to, is a good listener, is able to provide encouragement and support, doesn't make false promises, is able to work with their group to solve and learn about issues, is trustworthy, knows how to build rapport, is compassionate, has a desire to help, doesn't give advice, and doesn't judge. So I just want to break down a few of these because some of them you kind of look at and be like, what? For example, doesn't give advice. So that doesn't mean you absolutely can never give advice, but we are not licensed counselors. So please do not counsel the people that you are speaking with. If it's something that they need more professional help with, please point them in the direction of a professional. Don't try to step in and be that professional. But if somebody comes to you and wants to just vent and talk to you, let them. If they ask you for advice, feel free to pull from your own personal experience and give them advice based on that. Obviously, we could all be experts in a lot of areas just based on the work we've done with our own kiddos. So give advice from that perspective, but please don't give any sort of counseling. Where's the other one that stood out to me? Doesn't make false promises. So if you have a person that you're speaking with and you don't know the answer to a question that they're asking you, don't promise them that you will find the answer if you don't know where you're going to find that answer, or don't promise them that you will help them find the answer and then not follow through with that. Please make sure that you follow through with any promises that you make to people. You want to be somebody that they feel comfortable coming to. And if you're not following through with things that you've said to them, then they're not going to feel comfortable coming to you. I think those are the only two that really, I think, needed explanation. Everything else kind of is self-explanatory. All right, so being a peer leader, basic definition. Peer leader is someone who uses simple listening and problem-solving skills in combination with learned knowledge and lived experience to assist people who are your peers. So since we are all SAPB2 parents, that's why we're peers to the people that we are speaking with. Peer support is not typically something that somebody offers when they don't have direct experience with the thing that they're offering support in. So this program offers that personal touch of, we know what you're going through. Like we've been there, we are there, we're doing this hard work as well. Basic principle: people are capable of solving their own problems if given a chance. So your job is not to solve everybody's problems for them. Your job is to help them solve their problems, or find their answers, or whatever it is they're coming to you with. If you try to solve everybody's problems, you are going to burn yourself out, and we will talk about burnout later. Basic philosophy: most of the time people are best served by a relationship that supports their own empowerment and decision making. So while people will come to you and think that they want you to give them all the answers, that's just never the most effective way of helping somebody. It's the whole, teach a man to fish philosophy. So you can find their answers for them, you can do the work for them, and you help them with that one problem. But if you are helping them learn how to solve the problems, how to find the answers themselves, you're empowering them. And then also you're creating more leaders within our community as well to help new families as they come on. Because as we know, there will be new families coming on all the time. So we want to continue to build those minds up, so that way we have volunteers for many years to come. We're all going to eventually grow out of being volunteers. So we're going to need more volunteers in the future. Your goal is to help your peers find their own solutions to their own problems, not to solve their problems for them. I already went over that. So same thing. And your tools are active listening skills, problem solving skills, and your own experience. I don't expect you guys to go out there and, take college courses on any of this. I don't expect you to go take online courses, go get certifications in anything like that. Just pull from your own personal experience. Be a good listener. That's really the biggest piece most of the time. And use your problem solving skills. Now, if you want to go out and take courses, go for it. Like, more power to you. If that's your thing, great. But don't feel like you have to put in that much effort into this. All right, what are our ethics? So you want to make sure you respect individual differences, including choices people make that may not be choices that you would make. We are all parents parenting in our own ways. And, or in some cases, it's not a parent, it's another relative or loved one or something else. But we're all making choices that we feel are in the best interest of the person that we're caring for. And sometimes the choices that I make are not going to be the choices that you would make, or the choices that somebody you're talking to are not the choices you would make for your own child. And it's not our responsibility to judge that. It's not our responsibility to change their mind on that. If that's how they choose to take care of their loved one, great. Obviously, unless they're causing harm to somebody. Act as a role model, making healthy choices and being true to yourself. So, don't give out advice that you wouldn't follow yourself. Honor diversity in all forms. Obviously, we're a very diverse group. We come from all over the world, from all sorts of different backgrounds, be it ethnic, religious, what have you. So just be respectful and honor that diversity. Maintain confidentiality. If somebody talks to you about something, you do not share that with anybody else. You need to make sure that you're trustworthy. They're coming to you in confidence, trusting that you are going to keep what's said between you and them. So make sure that you maintain that confidentiality. Learn as much as possible about the issues that affect your peers. This will be particularly helpful when you do your meetups. Meetups are going to be more like casual, fun time to get together and get to know each other. But if there's a particular topic that is affecting your group, like your state's services, for example, if you know that that's something that's really affecting your group, make sure you know as much as possible about that so that you can help people through that and help them navigate that as well. Only offer information that you are qualified to offer and with the greatest accuracy. Don't guess on anything. If you don't know the answer, just be honest about that. I don't really know the answer to this, but I can help you find the answer. And like I said, we're not licensed counselors, so don't try to be a licensed counselor. Follow through on your words and promises, as we already talked about. Accept the supervision and support from others. I don't plan on having any sort of one-on-one supervision with you guys on a regular basis where I'm critiquing your work by any means. But I will check in with you every so often just to see how you're doing, make sure you're not getting burnt out. And also just to see how your meetups are going, and see if there's any way that the foundation can support you guys through your work. And then do not allow your peer leader role to put your emotional or physical well-being at risk. And we will get into that in a minute. So that's your peer support role. And then part of your peer support role is the state and local resources aspect. So as part of the regional representative team, we ask that you be passionate about learning about your state and local resources offered in your regions for persons with disabilities. We do not expect you to be an expert on this, nor do we expect you to have all the answers. We just ask that you're willing to take the time to learn or connect families in your region with resources that can help them find the supports they need for their loved one with SAS. Use your personal experience for this. If you're unaware of a particular resource, use the other families in your area to find the answer. So we all have families in our areas that have kids that are older than our kids, younger than our kids, have been at this longer than us or less time than us. So make sure you utilize that. If you don't know where you can find a particular resource in your state, ask another family in the state who maybe has an older child who might know the answer to that. And then, like I said, I don't expect you to go out and take courses on your state. If you want to, go for it. I also don't expect you to spend all this time calling around to all your local offices or anything like that. Again, if you want to, that's awesome, but you don't have to do that. Just utilize your own experience. So I'm here in Pennsylvania. Hallie's about to turn 5. So I've been, working with the system for just shy of 5 years now. So I know how to navigate the medical assistance program. I know how to get early intervention. I know what happens after early intervention. I'm now just starting to learn about school age. So I can utilize all that information to help a family who just got a diagnosis. Because as I'm sure you guys have all noticed, you can't just Google a lot of this information. You Google it and you come up with almost nothing. One of the things about Pennsylvania is that for their medical assistance, all you need is a qualifying diagnosis. There's no wait list, anything like that. You just apply. And as long as you have a qualifying diagnosis and you provide all the information that they ask of you, your child gets medical assistance. So Hallie has had medical assistance since she was 18 months old, something like that. And I just have to re-up it every year. And that's literally just submitting my husband's pay stub, which I don't even know why we need to do that because it's not based on income. Her qualifying diagnosis at the time was developmental delay. and that was it. It's great. Fortunately, not every state offers that. I know a lot of states have wait lists. Sorry if you hear my baby screaming in the background. I'm not really sure what's going on. You know, a lot of the states do have long wait lists, and then you have to wait it out. I know, Mary, you waited a long time just to get Chelsea on your waiver program. So it's unfortunate, and hopefully we see that change in our lifetime. But knowing that information about your state is going to be extremely helpful. So think about the things that when you got your diagnosis, things that would have been helpful for you to have, and then try to get that information together to have for your new families that come, or existing families even, that come along to you. All right. So that is the peer support aspect. And then the only other part of your job is regional meetups. Initially I had said quarterly for this, and then I was thinking about it within my own life, and I was like, I don't even know if I could keep up with quarterly meetups, as nice as that would be. And hopefully we can get to that point. I don't want to put that too much of an expectation on you guys and burn you out really quickly. So I'm going to cut that down to just 2 times a year. I'm going to ask you guys to do meetups. One should be held in person as restrictions allow. And then the other should be held virtually. If you want to do both in person, great, go for it. But I know sometimes it is easier just to get people together, like how we are now on Zoom. You're also welcome to, but not required to, hold as many Zoom meetups as you want throughout the year. Just connect with me and we'll get you set up with a Zoom call. So we do have an account through the foundation. That's the what I'm logged into now. But we only have 2 people on that account. It costs to add more people to that. So I would have to set up the meeting for you and log in to help you get connected for that. But I don't need to actually be on the call for you. But I'm certainly willing to do that. So just connect with me anytime you want to set up any sort of virtual meetup, and we will get that set up for you through our Zoom account. All right, before I move on to burnout, is there any questions about anything I just went over?
No question, but I had a comment real quick, if that's okay. So I know that going over the state and local resources can feel really, really intimidating. And I know that you said don't take a class, but there is a program called Partners in Policymaking. Tons of different states offer that. It's typically offered free. You do have to apply just because it's very competitive to get in. But if you are a regional representative for a rare genetic syndrome like us, chances are they would probably accept you. And it's like a 9-month program, and they teach you everything. We talk about housing, we talk about IEPs, we talk about vocational rehab, every single program, the waivers, everything. They go over everything. And I really recommend that for anyone who wants to really get to know what's available in their state.
Yes, actually it's interesting because I took that course also here in Pennsylvania. My experience was so much different than yours. I couldn't believe how much you guys went over in your class that we did not go over in my class. Now, granted, we were the first Zoom group because they normally meet in person. But because of COVID, they were not able to do that. So ours was completely virtual. But yeah, all the things you guys were doing, that big project that you did where you came up with Disability Book Week, we didn't do any of that. So I was very impressed with Texas's Partners in Policymaking class. So
kudos. Yeah, it's next level. It is amazing.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments before we move on?
Hi, this is Linda. So thank you so much, Jenna. Those are really great points. A lot of those I had not thought through, but they just make so much sense as leaders. I guess 2 questions that come to mind are, would there be any funds available to apply for maybe an occasional meetup where we would want to do it at a space that needs to be reserved with some sort of fee? And then the second question is if, or maybe you're planning to already talk about this later on, what will be the mechanism that by which we'll be connected with those who are seeking information? And is this something that's going to be presented to all new SAS families, when they join the foundation or the Facebook page, will they automatically be given our contact info?
Those are excellent questions and things I forgot to include in this PowerPoint. So thank you for asking this. So as far as funds go, we do have a small budget line in the SAPI2 board budget for these regional meetups. I can't remember the amount off the top of my head, but I can get back to you guys on that. But we did set aside a small amount of money to help with these meetups. And then also as far as your second question goes, so we have a page on our website that talks about the regional representative program. And when we actually get this up and running, we will update that to have like who the regional representatives are in each state and your contact information. We will likely set that up through email. Nancy is joining. Hold on 1 second. All right, there we go. So I'll be coming to collect more information from you guys once we get that ready to go. But we, as an introduction to the program, we are planning on announcing this formally at the conference in July and introducing the committed volunteers and what states you're from. We're doing that twofold. One, so that people know about it, know it exists. And then also to hopefully encourage some more people to join the program as well. So that's where we're at with that right now. But yes, we will definitely have a way for people to connect with you. Also, people will connect with me as my role in the foundation on the board. So then I would connect them with you guys as well regionally as they come to me. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Jenna.
Sure. Anything else before I move on? No?
I was just wondering if you have noticed any other families in West Virginia yet. I know the last time I checked, there weren't any.
Yeah.
And I'm dying for there to be like anyone else.
No, as of now, no, you are still the only one in West
Okay.
Virginia. So yeah, I was looking at, Allison was so kind to put together this beautiful map for me that shows how many families we have in each state so that I could kind of hone in on where we needed help.
Yeah.
And no, West Virginia still, you guys are the only one. However, in surrounding states, we have a lot of other families.
I know that it's because of our resources or lack of resources. But hopefully that changes.
Yes, hopefully that would be really nice. Cause yeah, I mean, it's going to make your job pretty easy right now. Cause
Yeah.
anybody can connect you with, but like I said, your surrounding states, there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like Virginia has a lot of families. And as of now, just double checking, make sure as of now, I don't have anybody in Virginia. Now, I wouldn't expect you to learn about all their resources because you don't live there.
Yeah.
But you could at least be a connecting point for new families there. And then I think, we don't have anybody in Maryland either. And they also have quite a few families there as well. So I definitely have people I could send your way if need be.
Okay.
But, obviously for meetups, I'm not going to expect you to like travel to set up meetups or anything like that. But, if you're willing, I could have you do the virtuals at least.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Sure. All right. And Mary said, if you're looking into your state council on developmental disabilities, they often have grant monies available for hiring speakers / hosting local conferences. So that's another source of funding for your meetups. And then, I would just always encourage you guys, if you're going to do like something where you guys get together and eat, just ask people to bring things, everybody bring XYZ. That way you're all kind of sharing in that responsibility. I certainly don't expect you guys to be, financially contributing to the meetups in any way, unless you want to. So, all right. Anything else? No? Hi, Nancy. I saw that you joined.
Hello.
How you doing?
You can hear me. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't have it on. I don't know if my kids are making a lot of noise or
No, you're good.
I'm on West Coast, so I was late. So I just checked right and saw that it was happening right now.
No worries. Yeah. So we are about probably a little bit more than halfway through it at this point. I've just gone over what the peer support is, aspect of it. And then I just went over the regional meetups. That's what's up on the screen now.
Okay.
But I've been recording the session, so I will share that out to everybody. I'm not going to post it publicly, but I'll share it out to the people that were on the meeting and supposed to be on the meeting. So you guys have everything to reference.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
thank
Okay. So with being a volunteer comes burnout. So we don't want you guys to get to a point where you burn yourselves out. So what I want to do is I want to go over with you what burnout is, what it looks like, how to recognize it in yourself, and what to do if you get to that point. So as I said, burnout is extremely common. It's an extremely common issue amongst volunteers. I'm sure you've all experienced it both in being a parent, in your vocation. If you volunteered for other things before, it's very easy to get burnout. If you are here today and you are willing to be part of this program, that means that you are a compassionate person and you want to help people. And people like us, unfortunately, are much more prone to burnout because we just want to help. And we often try to stretch ourselves way too thin. So we want to try to avoid that. Burnout is often defined as a state of chronic stress that may lead to exhaustion, cynicism, and detachment. And it's also identified in individuals who have feelings of ineffectiveness and a lack of accomplishment. I know for myself, that's how I know I'm getting burnt out, is when I start to feel like I have nothing to offer. When I start to get down on myself about that, that's when I know, oh, I'm doing too much. I'm stretching myself too thin because I'm probably not offering very much because I'm too burnt out. It is important that you know the signs of burnout so that you can recognize them in yourself and take action before it becomes a problem. You don't want to wait until you're so burnt out that you have reached that point of cynicism. Because usually once you reach that point of cynicism and anger, it's really not easy to come back from that. And it's also important to note that we all experience burnout, and caring for ourselves needs to take priority. We are parents too. I can tell you from the work that I've done with the foundation so far that you will have experiences where people will come to you and they don't treat you like you're the same, like a parent with the same thing going on in your life. I think they forget that sometimes. So it's important that you know that about yourself. Like, we are also SAS parents. We also are raising children with SAS. And as we know, our kids go through up and downs. And so it's important that you guys take care of yourselves as the priority. So if at any point, you're going through something, whether it be with your child, whether it be another personal thing you're going through, please come talk to me. Don't just keep trying to do it because you feel bad backing out on your commitment. I don't want you to burn yourself out. And I also want you to prioritize what is actually the priorities in your life, which is your family and your children. What are some signs of burnout? This was actually in the peer support training that I did. This was the first thing that the trainer that I had said. He said, if you find yourself hoping that a meeting gets canceled, that's pretty much a red flag that you are burnout. So not just like a one time, like, oh, I have a really busy day today and I really wish I didn't have to go on this meeting. But if it's like, I just don't have the emotional energy to talk to this person, I really don't want to talk to them, those feelings are signs that you are stretched thin and you are starting to burn out. If you're feeling exhausted all the time, obviously we all feel exhausted a lot of the time, especially those of us with real young kids. But if you're feeling kind of a permanent sense of exhaustion where you just can't come out of it, then that's a sign that you are doing too much. Feeling unmotivated to do the work, or feeling incompetent to do the work. So if you just really, really find yourself not wanting to do it, or you, like I said with myself, find yourself thinking, I don't have anything to offer here, those are both signs that you are burning out. Feeling irritated by questions and comments. So if you're getting contacted by people in your region and those emails are irritating you, or those phone calls or texts or however you're communicating, that's a sign that you're burnout as well. You shouldn't, yes, people can grate on your nerves, but you shouldn't, for the most part, feel irritated just by people asking you questions about what they're supposed to be asking you questions about. You're not enjoying what you're doing. That could be a sign of burnout. if you actually came on excited about this. If you come on and you're not really excited about it and you're not enjoying the work, then maybe it's just not a good fit for you, and that's okay too. But if you were excited in the beginning and you find yourself not enjoying it anymore, that could be a sign that you're burning out. If you're feeling cynical, or if you're feeling just straight depressed. If you reach the point of feeling depressed, that means you are like way beyond burnt out at that point. And at that point, you probably need some more support than just taking a step back. So I would encourage you to get that support if you get to that point where you're feeling depressed. Any questions about that? No? Okay. Well, that is all that I have for what your role actually entails, in terms of what's kind of expected of you. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys all coming on and wanting to participate in this. It is a huge need in any rare syndrome community, but in our community in particular, it's something I think as we are growing more rapidly is really going to be helpful, particularly for Allison, who has taken on so much for so long. I think it's great to have people that she can field questions to instead of trying to answer everything herself. So I hope this can be a successful program. I hope that our families will start to utilize us. I do want to just let you know, it's probably going to be a little slow going at first because everybody has been so used to going to Allison for everything for so long. Just out of habit, I think they're going to continue to do that for a while. And then I'm just going to keep encouraging her to send that information along rather than trying to handle it herself, so that we can actually help her in that. So don't expect that you're going to get a flood of emails right off the bat. And in fact, maybe not even ever right now, because we are still a fairly small group. We have about 500 families in the Facebook group, and only about 250 of those are in the United States, as far as I know. So, not a huge group. I'm actually going to pull up right now a Google Drive document I have that shows how many families we have in each state. And so I can let you guys who are here know how many families you have in your state. I'm not sure how we can go about this without potentially giving out too much information, but I think it would be nice if we could kind of let you guys know who it is that lives in your areas, so that you can personally reach out to them. But I got to be careful about how we do that. It would probably only be able to be Facebook people that I can do that with, because that is like a public forum. But hopefully we can get you connected in some way. All right, so California, you guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You guys have 20 families in California. So huge, which is why we need more help for you guys, because that's a lot of families for you guys to take on yourselves. Now, some of these families are probably people who have been with the foundation a long time and have older kids and might not necessarily need that kind, like the resources assistance, but I mean, we always all will need support. So definitely, hopefully they will participate in the meetups, and that would be good. All right, so that's California. Then we have Florida. Rachel, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 potentially. Okay. Oh, no, that's you. You're the question mark. You are in Florida now. She has you as Massachusetts and Florida with a question mark by Florida. So yeah, you have a decent amount of people there too. So we should probably get you another helper as well, because Florida is not a small state either. Who else is here? Alexis, we already know you only have the one, but Maryland has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 families, and Virginia has 9 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Virginia has 8. Who else do we have? I went over California. Who else? Is there anybody else here? No.
How about Texas?
Oh, Texas, Mary. I'm sorry, I forgot you. You have a lot too. You might be more than California. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 families in Texas. That is a lot of families. And actually, interestingly enough, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are in San Antonio. So yeah.
Wow.
So I mean,
We'll
they
have to
have a
plan
nice
something
little
in
group. Of,
San
yeah, I was
Antonio,
gonna
go
say,
to
we need to
SeaWorld
find
or
somebody in
something.
San Antonio. We got to reach out to these people and see who wants. Oh, Katie Noble is in San Antonio, and I think she's on my volunteer list, if I remember correctly. So there we go. Oh, you're on here twice because you have the 2 girls. So 27 families. And we got, yeah, so we have the 6 in San Antonio. There's 3 in Houston, 2 in Fort Worth, 2 in Dallas, and then everybody else is on their own. Where you're in Katy, right?
Right outside Houston. Yeah.
Okay.
Which interestingly, I took my girls into a neurologist and she's like, oh yeah, I have another patient that has SATB2. And I was like, is it this person or this person? But
Yeah.
and she's like, oh, I can't disclose that, but neither of them. And I was like, wait, there's someone else with SATB2 in Houston and I don't know who it is. So a mystery person.
Yeah, there's 3 here. Yeah, I don't know if I should say it either, so I just won't. But yeah, there's 3 in Houston. So yeah, you're gonna definitely need some help as well. But yeah, we should definitely try to get somebody from San Antonio. Like I said, I think Katie Noble is on my list. Oh, they're on there twice. The Noble family's on there twice. I'm gonna need to go through this list and weed out multiples too. But yeah, if we can get at least one other person in Texas, but probably 2 even, because Texas is huge too. And if we want to do in-person meetups, obviously we don't want to be asking people to travel 10 hours across the state. So, yeah, so I would encourage you guys to really connect with the people in your areas and, let them know it's not as scary as it sounds. I know that's why we're struggling to get volunteers, because people look at this and they think it's so much work and so daunting. They think my state is huge. How could I possibly represent all those people? But we need to remember we're still a fairly small group. So you're really not having to represent that many people. And like I said, this is as much effort as you want to put into it. This is not something that I expect you guys to put hours and hours of work into every week. It's just, if I send an email your way, respond to it, host these regional meetups in your area. Just try to connect to the families as best you can, especially after COVID. We really all need to reconnect. And there are probably several families that got their diagnosis during COVID who have never had the opportunity to connect with anybody. So we really want to make sure that we're giving people that opportunity, as I think we can all relate to. Having community really helps in navigating this and in just not feeling alone in it. It can, as we've talked about in some of our support group discussions, it can feel really daunting and scary and depressing at times. So having people who you can kind of bounce ideas off of, and just feelings, just being able to vent and say, my day sucked today. And then understand what that behavior looks like, or understand why your day sucked. I think is going to be really huge for our community and really helpful. So, hi, Courtney. Welcome. We are at the end, but I recorded it, so I'm going to be sharing it out to everybody's email who signed up. So you'll definitely get the recording. But if you have any questions while you're here, feel free to ask them. Okay. All right. And Courtney, I was just telling everybody how many families they have in their states. You're in Michigan, so let me look at Michigan. You actually probably have a pretty good idea anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 families in Michigan, including your own. So pretty decent group in Michigan there too. So I'm not super familiar with the entire state other than your area, actually, because that's where my husband's from. So I'm not super familiar with this, but it looks like they're pretty spread out throughout the state. But hopefully you guys can still get together. There's another thing I want you to know. Try to do something kind of centralized to everybody in your state, but I also realize a lot of you live in big states. Don't expect you to travel 3 hours to host a meetup, or 4 hours, or any, like, if you have to travel an hour to try to get centralized to people, I hope you'd be willing to do that. But you're the one putting the work and the effort in. So if you can't do that, that's totally fine. If you need to have people come to you, have people come to you. Don't go crazy trying to make that happen. And if you find that you're the only representative in your state and the other families in your state all live hours apart from each other, and you don't think that an in-person meetup is feasible, I'm fine with that. Like, just let me know and just say, hey, we got to do virtual meetups because we don't live close enough to each other, but I want to make sure we connect. All right. Is there any questions or anything, any comments anybody wants to make?
I would love to hear some brainstorming about what y'all have in mind for the meetups.
That is a good question. Has anybody put any thought into that? Has anybody hosted one that you want to share what you did?
I could speak a little bit to a past meetup that we did early on before the program was being brainstormed on. So this was, I guess, 3 years ago in California. At that time, I think we had maybe 14-ish families in the state, about 8 of which were in the Northern California area where I'm from. And so we applied for and got a grant from the SAS Foundation, and we rented a space in the public library. And then we invited all the California families to attend. And we actually had a family from Southern California, which is like at least like a 6-7 hour drive, come up just for the few hour meetup. So that was really encouraging. We had a few families drive maybe 3 hours or so. The way we formatted it was we had pizza. We had just kind of a meet and greet and mingle with all the families. There were a few of the families who had already met at the conference. So that was like a little mini reunion. And then a few families that, hadn't met anyone yet. Any other SAS families prior to that. And then the way we structured it was I basically just had a list of talking points, like resources in California, things like IHSS, Respite, Medi-Cal, which is our state's Medicaid, school resources, so educational resources, and then kind of just open the floor to other resources that people had taken advantage of. And it was really cool hearing about things, small businesses that had things that our kids would benefit from, things like that. And then, so we kind of had that structured part where I just basically moderated a conversation with my preformed talking points and then an open floor. And I think we met for a total of probably about 3 hours or so. But we got good feedback from it. And then afterwards, I sent out some notes from the discussion and those different resources people had mentioned so that they would have that info pretty easily accessible afterwards. And then I think I lost momentum during COVID. So hopefully we can revive that again. And Nancy, it's really nice to see you. I know we haven't met in person yet.
Yeah, that's great. That actually sounds like it was a very good meetup. Those are all really great ideas. So the one thing I can say as far as meetups go, I'm a church going person. So we have a lot of get-togethers and picnics and things like that. And I will say the one thing that kind of always eases the awkwardness is food. Food always brings people together. People like to eat. And I just feel conversation tends to flow a little bit more easily over food. So eating is always a good idea to kind of make things feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more casual so people don't feel uncomfortable and awkward. So I definitely would recommend offering at least snacks at your meetups. But like I said, don't feel like you have to be the one to provide all that. Please ask people and certainly reach out to the board and see if we can offer any sort of funding if you wanted to do something like that, like pizza. Certainly, I think we could probably cover some pizzas. So any other ideas, thoughts?
Well, another question I had, I know we said that we wanted to do a virtual meetup. Is
Mhm.
this going to be structured kind of like the family education thing where we need to find a speaker, or is this like a casual meet and greet and just kind of talk to each other, or is it at our own discretion?
So the way that I kind of envisioned it at this point would be more of just a casual get together, um, talk about what's going on in your lives and just be a connecting point for each other. However, if you do have somebody in your area who can speak to something that is specific to your region, somebody from a local school district, um, a senator, somebody important in your state, who has decision-making power that you can get to come and just hear you guys out. I mean, certainly welcome them to participate in that. Mary, I could totally see you getting somebody onto one of your calls doing that. So, do with it what you feel comfortable doing and what you want to do. But I definitely envisioned it as more of like just a casual connecting point. Then it doesn't have to be anything structured.
I don't have any families around me, but last year after we got our diagnosis in March, we reached out in the group and we ended up meeting up with a family in Cincinnati, and we just kind of went to the zoo together and then ate dinner with them afterwards, and that was nice. We didn't really talk about resources or anything like that. There wasn't a lot of pressure, but it was nice to just be around someone that understood what we were going through.
That's great. I didn't realize you were close to Ohio too, because let me see. Do we have anybody in?
Yeah, I'm in Charleston, so I'm about equal distance from like Morgantown, Pittsburgh area, and Columbus and Cincinnati.
Let's see where she lives. We do have somebody who volunteered who lives in Ohio, Chelsea Tewksbury. I don't know if you know her or not.
I don't know, but maybe if they
awesome.
would include me in their meetups, I might be able to
Yeah,
go
that
to
would be great. Let me see where she lives in Ohio. She is.
And that said, I'm on the border. I'm literally 20 minutes from Indiana and Ohio, both. They actually meet in my county. So not that I know the resources, but I'm right there too.
Yeah. Courtney, there's actually a family in Sandusky. Where are you?
Yeah, that would only be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on what side of Sandusky they're on. So
Yeah. Cedar Point.
No, someone earlier had mentioned that there was a specific Facebook group for their state. Did I mishear that, or is there like a separate Facebook? Because I think that's a great idea, because I'd love to be able to post, Texas specific grants, Texas specific information.
Yeah. I believe I had heard California had one.
California, is that it?
I think
Yeah.
we did.
We do have California, and the way we decided to set it up, I worked with Allison to strategize because I'm not good. I'm not Facebook savvy. And what we decided on was to do it as a secret group, which is basically where it's not publicly searchable. So we want to make sure families get plugged into the international group first as their primary resource. We don't want to be a substitute for that. And so once they are in the directory for the international group, then we reach out to them to see if they want to join our California group, which would be just really focused, very resource heavy, and still send our questions and comments to the bigger group on bigger issues that could apply to everybody. So yeah, it's a secret group. The downside to this that I'm finding though is that what you have to do for them to join your state group, if you make it a secret group as well, is they have to accept a friend's request from you first. So I'm like, I still need to work out the language so it doesn't sound too shady. Like currently it's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and we started a California group, but it's a secret group. And in order to join, you have to accept my friend's request. It just sounds, like scammy.
Yeah.
But if we decided to do more state groups like that too, maybe we could like standardize language to help the admins get set up with it.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry, I'm still trying to find out where Chelsea is. I don't see her on this list, but she might have a different last name now than she did then.
Aren't they military? Don't they move around real?
Oh,
a
is that
lot?
the, yeah, that might be who that is.
Yeah, because I remember talking to them. They're they move like every couple years.
Yep, I think you're right. I think that is her. So I'm not sure where in Ohio she is right now, or if she's even in Ohio, right? I think she is. I think that's what she told me. But yeah. All right. Well, that's all really great, helpful information. Anybody have any last thoughts or questions before we end for the night? Nope. All right. So I will get this. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to stop recording. Okay. So I'll get this